Good morning and good Chodesh. Today is actually the first day of the new month, the new Jewish month of Tammuz. As we mentioned yesterday, we celebrate the beginning of the month on 2 days this time because the new month, the new moon begins to appear somewhat in the middle of yesterday. So today's the first full day of Rosh Chodesh. We'll talk about that at a different time. But the point is, it's a new energy, a new positive energy. And hopefully that this chidush, this chodesh, this new month will bring new blessings to all of us, to all of you, and in everything that we do. Before we continue with our stories, this week it's only stories. And the reason we do that is because in a few days we will be commemorating the yahrzeit of the Rebbe. And I'd like to share some powerful stories and messages that we can learn from the Rebbe. But before I do that, let me remind you about the evening, tonight, the special local Delaware Valley commemorative event that we're having in honor of the Rebbe's yahrzeit, 26 minutes, 26voices.com. Let me bring that up here on the screen so you can see that. If you'll click on, let me take the tchotchkes off. If you can click on tonight at 26 minutes, 26voices.com this evening, at 7:30, 26 minutes, 26voices.com, this evening at 7:30 for a wonderful, engaging program, followed by mini classes by the many different rabbis and rebbitzins in the area. You can go on the website now, 26 minutes, 26voices.com, and you can scroll down a little bit, and you will see the various classes that we're having and the various topics that are being discussed. So hopefully we will virtually see you later on this evening. So back to our regular programming, as we say in English. Today's story is actually not a story from the Rebbe, but it's a story that I heard that really encapsulates what the Rebbe tried to impart to us, to Chassidim, and to the entire world. Because when we want to talk about the Rebbe, there's really so little we know about him personally, of who he really was. But talking about the Rebbe should never be about the Rebbe. Really, the way we commemorate what the Rebbe is about is what can we learn from him in our lives? How can the Rebbe be an inspiration to us so that we can make the impact that God has wanted from us? That is really what a Rebbe is. And you'll learn more at my class this evening after the event of 26 minutes, 26 voices, when I'll give a little discussion about what a Rebbe is. But this following story is a very inspiring story, I think, for all of us, and it in general, and it really encapsulates what the Rebbe's tried to teach us. So this happened in 2007. Fellow Arthur Rosenfeld, nice Jewish man in Pompano Beach, Florida, has a craving for Starbucks coffee. But he has no time to park and run in and out to get his coffee. It's America. It's great. It's 2020. He goes to the drive-thru. Now, the issue is that Mr. Rosenfeld, Arthur, we'll call him Art, had a big SUV. So a big SUV didn't really fit in the regular slot of the drive-thru. It didn't go in sequence. So he punches in his order on the screen and moves up. But because he has a long car, the car behind him really couldn't align his mouth with the microphone to get his order through. And what happens when people are in line and they're frustrated? Honks the horn, tell them move up. He can't move because the car in front of him is where it has. There's nowhere to move. And he has a long car. So this guy behind him is stuck, and he's getting all angry. He's getting all upset. He starts honking the horn. He gets out of the car. You jerk, you this, you that. He starts to really lay it out on Art. There's nothing Art can do. As soon as the car in front of him pulls up, he goes to the teller or to the Starbucks service person, whatever the proper term is, and he places his order. Now, one thing I didn't tell you about Art was that he was a great martial arts instructor. And really, he could have taken care of this guy with one little chop, but he decided to do something else. He tells the teller, the Starbucks employee, that he wants to pay for their order, for their coffee. And he takes out his $10 bill, buys his coffee, and even with $10, you can still buy 2 coffees at Starbucks. The lady looks at him, "Are you sure?" Guy's such a jerk. Says, "I know, but everybody has a bad day. He's probably having a bad day. It happens to all of us. I want to treat him to a coffee." So she looks at the fellow's order behind him and says, "Sir, I got a little problem for you. He ordered more than a coffee, and it's going to be more than $10. So why? He said he ordered breakfast for the 5 people in his car. The guy Art thinks, how kind is he going to be? Excuse me. How kind is he going to be? He waits a moment and says, "You know what? Go for it." He takes out his credit card and he pays for 5 breakfasts for the guy behind him who's acting like such a jerk. And he doesn't even look in his mirror and just drives off. Doesn't know who this guy was, doesn't know what his name is. This is how he was going to repay him. Guy pulls up. The lady says, "Sir, the fellow in front of you paid for everything." He says, "Really? Is that what he did to me? That's his thanks for I acted like such a jerk to him." He says, "But that's what he did. He was so kind." The guy thought for a moment, says, "You know what? If he did that for me, I'm going to do it for the person behind me. What is that person orders? What's that person's order? Let me pay for them." And he pays for the guy behind him. He pulls away. The guy behind him pulls up, says, "Really? Guy just paid for my breakfast out of the blue? Let me pay for the guy behind me." And the entire day, throughout the drive-through, because it's a continuous line, people were paying for each other. And that one act of kindness, because how this Art Rosenfeld reacted to what would have been a very negative and challenging experience, created a wave and a chain of good actions. My friends, you don't have to do something major to make a big difference in people's lives. What the Rebbe taught us was small acts of kindness. If you can just help that other person just with a breakfast, you don't know what that's going to trigger in that person. I don't even know if Art Rosenfeld knows what he did. But at the moment he did the right thing, at the moment he did one little thing that triggered a whole chain of positive events. And this is what the Rebbe tried to inspire into his Chassidim and through his Chassidim to the entire world. You don't have to be a Rebbe. You don't have to be a rabbi. You don't even have to be fully learned or fully observant. If you know one little idea of Judaism that inspires you, share it with someone else. It could inspire them as well. My friends, that's what I'm doing right now. I was inspired by a teaching from the Rebbe. I was inspired by a story that I heard, and I'm sharing it with you. I may be a rabbi. I may be observant. I may have learned many years in yeshiva, but what difference does that make? All it takes is sharing something that inspires you with others, because that can trigger a different inspiration in that person. And this is the beautiful message that we need to think about as we continue to think about the Rebbe during these days of his yahrzeit. Not about how great the Rebbe was, but how great did he make all of us. That in one little act, you can really make a change. And if you think of it, so many changes in this world happen with one person, with one act, with one generous spoken word. My dear friends, let's think about this during the day. One little thing you can do, one person you can call, one positive hello, one hug. Well, we don't hug people these days, but hugging someone in your family that needs that hug, connecting with someone. Everyone has something that they can share. And if you doubt if you can really make a difference, think of Art Rosenfeld back in 2007 in the line at Starbucks. Hopefully that will inspire you that you can do something great as well. I'd like to sign off and remind everyone once again about this evening's event at 26 minutes, 26 voices, and hopefully we'll see you then. There'll be a beautiful class, beautiful lectures, beautiful music, and many different things to choose from to hopefully inspire you, not just to think about the Rebbe and how great he was, but to allow that greatness to inspire you, how great you really are. Make it a great day. Do some great things. See you later.